Hi there! In today's video I'm working on my Captacity project in which I'm trying to basically recreate this Submagic. So I want to create automatic AI generated captions for YouTube Shorts. And this is part of my previous project, Shortrocity, which can create YouTube Shorts with AI. But in the original version of Shortrocity, the captions, although automatic, were not quite synced with the audio. So in the previous video, in case you didn't see that, I started this new project called Captacity. And in this one, I'm actually using OpenAI Whisper to recognize the voice from the video and then create the captions based on that. So let me actually demo this whole thing now. So if we go to Shortrocity, we create like a source.txt file. In this file, we can put whatever source material that we want to use to create the short. Now I'm just going to make up something. You could paste in some news article or something like this, but I'm just going to make up something. Create a YouTube short about a man who accidentally deleted a production database. And then we will just pass this description into the script. So we're going to run main.py and we'll pass in the source.txt and we just run it. So it will generate a script for the YouTube short and then it will generate the images and the narration and everything. And we will have a full video. Now, currently I have disabled the writing of the text. So we will get a YouTube short without the text, so without the captions. Because as I mentioned, these captions only work based on how long the sentence of narration is and how many words it has, and then it tries to guess what is the correct time to show each word. But then with my Captacity project, I can actually take the video and it will extract the audio from it, it will run it through Whisper, and then it will generate very well synchronized captions. But we still have some work to do on those. So let's see if this thing is ready. Okay, it's ready now. So if we just open this short, then here is our short.
Meet Jack, an IT professional. One fateful day, he accidentally hits delete on a production database. His heart sinks as he realizes his mistake. With a difficult confession to his team, he reveals the incident. Despite the challenges, they set out to restore their lost work.
Okay, so in this case, we got a very short YouTube short. Usually it makes a short that's about a minute, but I guess my description was so short that it created just 16 seconds. But we can now take this short and we can copy it into my Captacity project. So I'll copy this into Captacity. And then if we go over here, we have the short here now. Then here we can now run our main.py and we can pass in the short.avi. And I will delete this old with transcript file from here, just so that we know that it's going to be a new file. And we just run this. Well, we have to set the permissions first. So I have to chmod plus x main.py and then we can run it. So now it will use Whisper to detect all the words in the short and then it will generate all the captions. Alright, it's now done. I forgot to add this hashbang here, so it didn't quite work the first time. But I added the hashbang and then I ran it again and now we have a with transcript.avi. So let's open this and see what it looks like.
Meet Jack, an IT professional. One fateful day, he accidentally hits delete on a production database. His heart sinks as he realizes his mistake. With a difficult confession to his team, he reveals the incident. Despite the challenges, they set out to restore their lost work.
Alright, and as you can see, it now works. And in the case of this particular short, it actually was kind of perfect. But in previous shorts, I have had a couple of issues. First of all, one issue is that sometimes it shows the beginning of the next sentence in a caption. And I don't really want to see that. So I want to fix that issue. And then sometimes there are 3 lines of captions, but I want to limit it to 2 lines. And finally, I would actually like to highlight the current word that is spoken at the time. And then of course I want to style it a bit more like this one. So I want to have some color in it and stuff like this. So let's try to do all those things. Maybe not the coloring in this video, but at least the other stuff. So let me actually copy the previous short that I created. I believe it is in this one. So let's cp shorts /1709 28 2503 /short, and let's put that in Captacity. And let's run it with this one. And let's see what this one looks like.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI application. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling hardware, saving energy, and avoiding underutilization of cores. Grok's scalable chip design paves the way for large-scale AI models, as multiple processors can be connected without traditional bottlenecks. The first public demo presented a lightning-fast AI answering engine that produced responses with hundreds of words in less than a second. Exemplifying Grok's revolutionary speed, more than 3/4 of the processing time was spent searching, not generating answers.
Okay, again, it works pretty well, but there's a couple of tweaks I want to make. Now, I'm not quite sure how to start doing this. Currently, what we are doing is we are reading through every frame, and we are going to keep track of the time. So we calculate the time by adding 1 over the frame rate to the time every time. And then we are going to calculate this time chunk based on this look ahead time, which is right now 2 seconds. So we are always looking ahead 2 seconds, what is said in the next 2 seconds. And then we go through the segments which come from Whisper. So basically the segments look like this. We have these segments of text, which then also have this words key, which has a list of all the words and when they start and when they end in the video. So we loop through all of these, and we take all the ones that are supposed to be shown within that time chunk, and then we add them to the text that we want to write, and then we write that text. But I think I want to organize this a little bit differently. So let's actually create like a test file. And let's put here, just import JSON, and let's open that segments.json file, which is all the segments from that short. And let's open this and say that the segments are those. And then we're going to loop through all the segments, and basically we want the words from there. And what I would like to create is kind of a data structure like this. I would like to have a list, and in the list we might have a dictionary, and there might be a start, and there might be an end, and then there might be the text. Or in fact, yes, there might be words, which is a list of the words. And I guess if we want to show which word is active currently, then we would have to have this that way. So then we have the start and end of each word, and then we have the word. So basically, we want to create exactly this data structure, but this is too much text for a segment. So I want to make the segments smaller. Maybe there's a way in Whisper to actually make the segments smaller. Is there something in whisper.transcribe? Is there like segments? No, there's no segments in here. I don't think there's anything about the segment length. And I do want to like control that myself. So let's try to control that. So let's initialize here like a captions list. And we're going to loop through all of the words. And we probably want to have like a current caption. So this is going to be, I guess, just a dictionary, empty dictionary at first. So we have to decide for each word whether we are going to add it to the captions list or we're going to edit the current caption. So what is the rule by which we decide how many words fit in a caption? Well, we probably at least want to check how much fits on the screen. So let's define a function, fits on screen or fits on video. and we give it the text. And right now, let's do something like this. So let's just check the length of the text. But ultimately, we want to actually calculate the length of the drawn text and whether it fits on the video. But just to test, let's say that if it's less than 30 characters, then it fits. So I guess the caption needs to have the start and the end and the text. So if we say here, caption text plus equals word and a space. Now I think, were there spaces already in there? I think there are spaces already in there. Okay, so I just plus equal that. So we add to the caption text the word. And then we say if fits on video, the caption text. Then we are going to do something. Now I guess we should check before adding to the caption whether it fits. So we might want to do caption text plus word. So if that will fit on the video, then we add it to the caption. Else, if it doesn't fit on the video, then we append the caption to the captions list. And then we reset the caption. And we have to update the end of the caption. So that will be the current word end. Since we added it to the caption, then the caption will end at the end of the last word. And we set the start over here. Now the start might not be 0, so we might want to initialize it. Maybe we can set the start to none. And then here with every word, if we don't have a start, if caption start is none, then the caption start is going to be the start of the word. So after this, we should have a list of captions. So let's just print, or let's do like JSON dumps, and let's take the captions and let's do indent2, for example. And let's try to run this. Python 3 test.py. And nothing happened. Because, of course, I have to actually print this. Or I can say JSON dump captions into std out. How does that work? Std out. Is it sys.std out? Import sys. Maybe. Let's try again. Okay, now we got it. So that actually worked first try. So the first part is Grok, a tech company led by, and that starts at 0 and ends at 2.1. And then we have an ex-Google engineer, and that starts at the end of this one and then ends at that. And so on. And these are all less than 30 characters. So that's pretty good. But we want to have all the words separately in there. That's right, because we want to know which word should be highlighted. So in fact, we can say words, and this is going to be a list. And then instead of doing plus equals word, we are going to say append. Append word. But this has to be word. And this has to be word as well. Words. And this is going to be a list of the current word. And not just the word, we want the start and the end. So we just put the whole word in there. And here as well. But then we have to manage this thing. We don't have a text anymore. I guess we could just save it there as well. But we might get the text by doing something. Text equals join with a space. But we don't join with a space because there's a space already in there. So we are going to join with a space all of the words from the captions words. Okay, so we're going to get all of the words in this words list, which are dictionaries, not strings. So we get that word dictionary, and from that we get the word, and we do that for each of the words. So that is the actual full text that we have in there. Okay, that makes sense. Let's try to run it again. And now we have this probability here as well. I guess we can save it there. I don't really care. But yeah, now we have all this data. Maybe I want to get rid of the probability. Do I? Maybe not. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. So let's make this like a function. Let's call this parse segments. Or what should it be called? Yeah, let's call it parse segments. And let's pass in the segments, which is going to be a list of dictionaries, right? And how about we add here like the, what is it called? A fit function. So that we can pass in a function that we're going to use to determine the length. So then it's kind of reusable. But what do you call it? Fit function, which is a callable. How do I do this? Like that? Or it's like this? Not sure if I can do this, or do I do something like from typing import callable. I've seen this done. I've never actually done it. Maybe I have to do that. Let's do it. So this one is going to run all of this, but it will not call fits on video. It will call fit function. Can I just do that? Can I call it directly like this in Python? Not quite sure. And then we are going to return captions. So let's see if it works. So now captions is going to be parse segments fits on video. And let's run it. It works. Great. So now we can actually save this as its own file. And we don't have to have this fits on video in here. We just do that. And we can rename this to like a segment parser.py. So we shouldn't have to touch this anymore because we just changed the fit function. Unless we need all of the separate words in the fit function, maybe I should do it like that. Which I guess I could do, but I think it's fine like this. So now we can parse the segments, but how do we actually draw them on the video? Well, I guess we can still kind of use this code. So we go frame by frame and then we just loop through our captions and decide which caption to show. So let's do that. We get the segments from the transcription from Whisper, and then we have to import segment parser. And I like to keep my own imports in a separate place. So these are other people's imports and these are my own things. So we just pass the segments to the segment parser. So let's say segments equals segment parser parse segments. Now it kind of makes sense that we should call it parse. So let's open segment parser and just call it parse. And we have to pass in some sort of function here. Now I guess we can have a lambda function as well. So lambda, exactly this. And now we're using 40 for some reason, but that's fine. Now ultimately I want to add my own function that actually checks, like tries to draw the text and sees how much space it takes. Because I want to limit it to like 2 lines. But let's use the 40 characters right now. And I am going to disable this at the moment. Can I do like if false, then we're going to do this. And else we are going to open the segments.json. Because I don't want to run this Whisper every time. It takes a few seconds at least. So just for testing, I will use the segments.json file that I have already here. So we parse the segments. Then we have actually I will call this captions. And here we are going to say for caption in captions. And we don't have to loop through the words anymore because we have in the caption already the start and the end. And we don't have look ahead right now. So we can remove all of these things. And what we actually want to do is we want to check the start of the caption. If the start of the caption is greater than or equal to the current time and no look ahead. And if the caption start, actually the end, if the end is smaller than the time, then we actually write the text right away. So we do that. And then we can just break from this loop. So we go through all of the captions and we check if this caption starts after the current time, which doesn't make any sense. So if the current caption has started before the current time and the caption will end after the current time. Now I think one of these should be just greater than, because there will be overlap, I guess. So is that what I have to do? If the caption starts before the current time, okay, so it has started already, and it ends after the current time, then we show it. So then we're only going to show one thing at a time. And we can break when we find that caption. Makes sense. Let's try and run it. Python 3 main.py and short.avi. Okay, it's done, no errors. So let's xdg open with transcript.avi.
Grok, a tech company
And
led
of
by
course,
an ex-Google engineer,
it doesn't
claims
work
to have
at
created
all.
the first ever...
Why? Well, because we are using text to use here, which we don't have to set here anymore. We have to get it from the caption, which now that I think of it, it kind of makes sense to actually save it in the caption. It's easier to use. So let's do that. Let's add here caption text equals the text plus the word. Yes. And here the text is going to be just the word from the word. Okay. And I guess we can have here text as well as empty to begin with. Okay, that makes sense. Although we don't really have to do this anymore. We don't need this unnecessary loop here. So let's remove that. And we just say caption text plus word. And that will be the new text. And here's just going to be this. Makes sense. So then we can just say caption text. So we can write the text from the caption. Let's run it again. And let's open it.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI application. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling hardware, saving energy, and avoiding underutilization of cores. Grok's scalable chip design paves the way for large-scale AI models, as multiple processors can be connected without traditional bottleneck. The first public demo presented a lightning-fast AI answering engine that produced responses with hundreds of words in less than a second. Exemplifying Grok's revolutionary speed, more than 3/4 of the processing time was spent searching, not generating answers.
Okay, towards the end, it started to go off sync for some reason. And we don't have the last word. So that we can fix, I guess, by just adding it after all of this. So when we run the whole loop, then we append the last caption in there. I guess if it has a text. Will it always have a text? I guess it will. So we can do that. But why is the timing off? Aha, the timing is off because there are some pauses in the speech, but we are now only writing the frame if we have a text in the frame. So we have to move this out of here. So we always write. So this write text only like recreates the frame and it returns the frame. So then we have to write the frame. But if we don't find anything to write on the video, then we're just gonna write the frame as it was originally read from the video. So that's gonna work. Let's run it one more time. Okay, and let's open it.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI application. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling hardware, saving energy, and avoiding underutilization of cores. Grok's scalable chip design paves the way for large-scale AI models, as multiple processors can be connected without traditional bottleneck. The first public demo presented a lightning-fast AI answering engine that produced responses with hundreds of words in less than a second. Exemplifying Grok's revolutionary speed, more than 3/4 of the processing time was spent searching, not generating answers.
Okay, now it worked perfectly. But as you can see here, there are 3 lines of text. I only want 2. And sometimes we have the beginning of the next sentence there. And here it starts with a dash, which doesn't look good. And what else? I guess that's it. So here we have applications dot and then the next sentence, which doesn't look that nice, in my opinion. So let's try to fix those issues. So what do we actually want to do here? Well, I think let's move again into a separate test file. So let's again make a test.py .py. And let's do this in here. So let's open the segments. So we need to import JSON and we need to import segment parser. And let's just json.dump captions into sys.std out with indent. And we don't sort anything. Captions and import sys. And let's run this thing. Python 3 test.py. So here we have all of these things. So what do we want to do? We want to find places like this where we have a change of sentence. So I'm not sure if we should do this in the fits on screen function, or should we do it directly in the segment parser? Or should that be a different function? I'm just thinking about the extendability, or if someone else wants to use this just with another project with Whisper, then they could just copy the whole thing directly and then put their own functions in, and they don't have to change the actual code. But let's actually try to do it with the fit function. So if we pass in an actual function here, let's call it fit function. And let's define the fit function here. And it takes just a text. We might want to pass in all the separate words or something. And we might say that it fits if it's less than 40 characters and it doesn't end with a sentence. So if text strip, because there might be a space in the end, or is there actually? So does second have a space? It doesn't have a space. So maybe we can not strip. I'm not sure if it matters. So let's just strip it just in case. So if we strip it and in the end there is a period, then it doesn't fit. But that's not really what we want to do, because then it will not put the last word of the sentence in. We have to say that if the previous word ended with a period. So I guess we do have to pass in the text here, or the separate words. Now we could split it with the space, but does it always work like that? I guess it does. So we can say that the last word is that, but we don't want the last word, we want the next to last word. So this is -2. So I guess this can be called previous word. So if the previous word stripped has the final character as a dot, then it doesn't fit anymore. So should we do this and strip it and then prev word last char is that prev word -1? Or I guess we can just do that. So if the last character of the previous word is dot, then it doesn't fit. That means we are starting a new sentence. Does it make sense? Maybe it makes sense. Let's see what happens if we run it. I forgot. We might not have 2 elements in there. So we have to say if we don't have enough words, we don't return true. I mean, I guess we could, but we should just return this. Damn it, how do I organize this properly? So let's say that the words is that. And if the length of the words is less than 2, then we should only check for the length. But it is kind of true that currently, if we have just one word and it is longer than 40 characters, we will just not add it ever. Or what will happen? Not quite sure. Well, I guess we can just move this here. We can leave that there. And if it is greater than or equal to 2, then we take the previous word. And if the previous word ends with a dot, then we return false. So then it should work just fine. Let's see what happens. Okay, at least we didn't get an error. So what does it look like now? Processing time was spent searching. Speed more than 3/4 of the exemplifying Grok's revolutionary of words in less than a second. I cannot see any texts that end in a sentence or that have a sentence in the middle. So I guess it worked. Let's go through all of these. I think it is actually working. Now I want to see why we had one word that started with a dash. I guess I can look at the segments here, and is there like an Google. So that's a separate word. Why is that a separate word? This is kind of interesting. How do we solve this issue? I want that to be one word, X Google. So if we check that if the sentence starts with a dash, we don't allow that. But then we would have to add that word to the previous caption. But then the previous caption might go over the length. So we have to calculate the previous caption again. How do we combine them? And we can't just split the original text with the space because we want the word timestamps. But wait a minute. Every word starts with a space except this one. So can I first go through all of them and combine every one that doesn't start with a space? Maybe that makes sense. There was something about punctuation in here. Can I go the definition? So we have prepend punctuations, append punctuations. Does this do something? If I change prepend punctuations, let's actually search whisper prepend punctuations. And of course there doesn't seem to be any information about this. Okay, actually we have some information. So here someone is asking about utilizing whisper for audio segmentation into sentence pieces. And someone answered that you can set prepend punctuations to an empty string, which is what I was gonna do. So let's do that. Let's go to our main again and let's say prepend punctuations is empty. And do I have to set the append punctuations? I guess. Let's set that to append punctuations is empty. And let's save it here with open segments, save it into the file. So let's do that, and I am only going to do that part, so I will just exit here, and let me run python 3 main.py. Sorry, we have to give it the video, and let's take a look at our JSON of the segments now. So Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google, what? Didn't do anything. Oh, wait a minute, did I understand it incorrectly now? This will force punctuation symbols to be treated as separate words. That's not really what I want. Okay, I'm going to do it manually. Let's just remove these things. And I am going to go to segment parser. And before I go into this loop, I will loop through all of them and I will combine the ones that I want to combine. So if word, first character is not a space, then I want to combine them. How do I combine them? Do I need to like enumerate these so I can get the index so that I can edit them? I'm not quite sure. Maybe there's a better way of doing this, but let's just do this way. So enumerate both of these. And if it doesn't start with a space, and I guess if we're not at the first word, so when W is greater than 0 and word first character is not a space, then we are going to do something like this. So segment words. Now the thing is it gonna change the original if I do that? I have no idea. Maybe I'm just too much in PHP land. And I will just add here S words and then W minus 1 word plus equals not a space but the current word. And I want to delete this one. So there's a del which I can use to delete the current word. Maybe. Let's do that. And let's see if it works. Let's run test.py and we have an error. Key error 0. And this is gonna be 0, right? How is there no 0? Ah, sorry, it is this one. So this has to be segments. Okay, let's run it again. And look at this. It did something. But what did it do? Let's actually run it and do less. And then I can see that we have an ex-Google engineer. Look at this. Ex-Google. But I guess I have to change the start time. Do I change that? No, it's fine. Oh, I have to change the end time. So segments, words, W minus 1, end equals word end. Okay, that makes sense. So then we are actually going to change the end of this to be not the end of X, but the end of Google. Okay, that makes sense. And I might want to have like a comment here. Merge words that are not separated by spaces. Copilot understands what's going on. And then what is this? Let's see, what is this? What are we doing here, Copilot? Split words that are separated by... No, that is not what we're doing. We are parsing segments into captions. Yes, but what's a word I can use here? That fit on the video. Let's say like this. Although this is kind of not related to videos because you can use whatever fit function, but whatever. I just want to have some comments here because I am going to forget what the hell does this do. Anyway, we can now parse those words as well, and we can parse the sentences. So let's move this fit function in our main.py, and let's just slap it in here. And instead of this lambda, we are going to have fit function. So let's run this and see if it will in fact work. So we run the main.py, and now we should have no sentences starting in the middle of a caption, and we should not have captions starting with a dash. And let's open this thing and see what it looks like.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI applications. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling hardware, saving energy, and avoiding underutilization of cores. Grok's scalable chip design paves the way for large-scale AI models, as multiple processors can be connected without traditional bottlenecks. The first public demo presented a lightning-fast AI answering engine that produced responses with hundreds of words in less than a second. Exemplifying Grok's revolutionary speed, more than 3/4 of the processing time was spent searching, not generating answers.
Okay, I am quite happy with that. But I do think that I am going to move this part of the fit function into the actual segment parser. So let's just have this as the fit function here for now. And here I will add this kind of function, but I am going to call it has partial sentence. Or how should I call this? Let's do that. And this will return true if it has a partial sentence, and otherwise it will return false. And in here, I am going to say that we pass it in the fit function, and I will move this actually into text. Let's say that text is that. And if fit function text and, I guess I can put this one first. So if not has partial sentence text and fit function text. Now I guess someone might still want the partial sentences, but now you can't really change the behavior without changing the code. So I guess we could add something here like allow partial sentences, and let's set it to true by default, to false. And I guess we can move these on their own lines, and then we can check that. So if allow partial sentences, or in fact if not allow partial sentences and has partial sentences, then we have to do this, but we also have to do that. So how do we make this like nicely? What if we say, if we allow partial sentences or we don't have partial sentences, then caption fits equals that. Else, no, caption fits equals that always, and it's also caption fits. So if the caption fits and we do the fit function and that is true, then the caption fits. So we can say that the caption fits equals allow partial sentences or we don't have partial sentences. Does that make any sense? So first we check if we allow partial sentences, then this will be true. And then we say, if that was true and fit function is also true, then we do this. But if we don't allow partial sentences, then if we have partial sentences, then this will be false. And then this will be false too. So then this will be false. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So now we can define here whether we want to have partial sentences or no. Which is kind of a bad name. I don't know what to call this thing. Whatever. Now what we need to do is we need to actually here, instead of checking the length of the text, we need to check if it fits on the screen and if it has less than 3 lines. Because I want only 2 lines of text on the screen. So let's create that kind of fit function. Now we're going to have to use the cap in there, I guess. Or the frame. That is interesting. How do we use the frame in there? Isn't this a place where we can use like currying or something like this in Python? I've never used it. But we can like make a function that returns this function that has access to some variable. So let's do that. Let's put this in here. And right now we have this write text function that sets all these fonts and stuff, and then it will check if we can draw the text on the screen, and this splits the lines and everything. Now I want to change this function so that it doesn't actually write anything to the frame, it will just check if it fits. So let's try and do that. How could we do that? Well, we could just return from this all the lines that we have written. Let's do that. Let's have lines to write, which is a list. And here we just add it there. So we're going to say lines to write, append, line to draw. And then we don't return the frame, we return the lines to write. So basically, then if we pass in the text and the frame, then we are going to check if we can write, or we're going to check how much of the text we can write in there. And we return the lines we want to write. But now, what did we actually have there? What did we have the text Y, font scale. Yeah, we don't really need to have those at this moment, because we can just update the text Y elsewhere, because we know how many lines we have. So maybe we don't even want to have the text Y here, because we don't need it for anything at this moment. So let's remove that, and let's remove this. We do need to center multi-line text properly. So let's leave this here. And we actually don't need the margin or the black color or white color or anything like this here. But let's keep it there for now. And what we want to do in our fit function is we want to pass the text into the write text and the frame. So we have to do this. And we have to check that we have 2 lines or less. So the length of this has to be less than or equal to 2. So that means the text fits on the screen. If it doesn't fit, so if it's 3 lines long, then this will return false. But we don't have the frame now. But what we can do is we can say define fit function with frame, and we take the text and the frame, and now look at this. We have access to the frame. And of course we have to return from this the fit function. So now we can create a new function on demand that has access to the frame. So then we can use this thing, and we can say down here that the fit function is that fit function with frame. And of course we don't need to pass the text in here, just the frame. So this function will return a function that has knowledge of the frame. So then we can pass it in there. So let's try it. And now we can actually have more than 40 characters on the screen if it fits. Is that all I have to do? That seems too easy. Fit function with frame. We pass in the frame, and then we return this function that takes the text, and then it has the access to the frame. Okay, let's try to run it. Does this work? We have an error. local variable frame referenced before assignment. Damn it. Oh, sorry. That is interesting. Now, of course, we don't really need the frame. In fact, yeah, what am I doing here? Do we need the frame right text? We just get the text size, but this doesn't need the frame. Damn it. Wait a minute. Do we even use the frame? We use the frame for the width. So all this for nothing. I mean, I guess we can have here frame width, and let's add it here. So I guess we still need this currying function because we have to pass in the frame width. And let's call this fit function with frame, whatever. But we have to get the shape index 1. But we don't have this yet. But can we get the size before we get the frame? Well, we have frame size here. So I'm guessing that we can do something like frame width is that. Okay, I get it. So this is the width and then this is the height. So let's take the height as well. Then we can make this a bit nicer. We can say frame width and frame height. And now we have the frame width here. So we can move this down a little bit and we can set the frame width in here. And I'll just call this fits frame. So now it might actually work. But are we writing the text? Well, we are calling write text now, but we're not returning the frame anymore from this. So this has to be lines, and then we have to actually write the lines. So this is not going to be write text anymore. This is going to be calculate lines, I guess. And then for line in lines, we're going to actually write it. And we have this write line. What does that do? Yeah, that actually writes the text in the right position. But this needs the colors and the border and margin. Well, this one doesn't need the margin, but we need the margin down there. So let's move all of these in there. And we need the thickness too. Can we just like move these somewhere? For now, let's just move them as global variables, but we have to do something about these. To do, make these parameters. Okay. So now we have the font and all the font properties there. So then we can access them from anywhere. And we can write the line to the frame. And now we have to calculate the text Y. And this is going to be the font. And this is the font scale. And this is going to be, well, I think Copilot now knows what I want. White color, black color, thickness, border. But this needs to be now the text Y. And we have to say text Y plus equals margin and the height of the text. So we have to return that from here somehow. Text width. So text height is text size 1. Or let's call it line height. And we want to return that from here. So let's actually return a dictionary. Lines are these. And line, just height, is line height. Okay. But then we have to change where we use this. So lines is going to be calculate lines. So we have to say line data is that. And for line in line data lines and text Y is going to be frame height divided by 2. And we can actually now center the text properly. Although I might not center it ultimately, but we are going to do frame height divided by 2 minus length of the lines times the height divided by 2. Exactly. So we can get rid of our to-do. We are actually centering multi-line text properly now. But we have to add to this calculation the margin. So this is in fact the line height. Let's call it line height. Line height is that. It includes the margin. And text Y starts with the middle of the screen minus the length of the lines times line height divided by 2. And then text Y plus equals line height for every line. Okay. And this, I believe, does return the frame. Okay, let's see if this thing works now. Run it. The truth value of an array with more than one element is ambiguous. What did I do? If text width is greater than frame width, maybe frame width is wrong. Yeah, I pass in the frame. They should be frame width. So let's actually check. I forgot to check all the places where we have this. Frame width and frame width. Okay, that's all. So I just have to pass in the right thing in there. Let's run it. And overload resolution failed. Put text, bad argument. Sequence item with index 1 has wrong type. Okay, what does that mean? Frame text org. Okay, I probably have text y as a float. It needs to be an int. And maybe this has to be int as well, although I think it might be already. Let's run it again. And look at this. We ran it with no errors, but that of course doesn't mean that it works. Let's see.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI applications. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling
it is
hardware,
working, it's in sync, but maybe we passed in the wrong frame width. So let's actually print here frame width. And let's run it.
Grok,
sorry, not this one.
a tech company.
This one. Aha. I don't think that is correct. Wait a minute. What is the size of the video? Isn't that the height of the video? No, that's actually correct. So that is the width of the video. But why did it fit so much text in there? I think I forgot to change up here where I get the length. I get the length of the dictionary. So I have to get the length of the lines in the dictionary. Interesting. What is the length of a dictionary? Is it how many items are in there? So it's always 2. So I guess, did we like use the segments directly, or I'm not sure what happened there, but this is now the correct way. Let's run this thing again. And I need to remove my print statement from there. I don't need that. But now it should actually work. Hopefully it works. And let us see.
Grok, a tech company led by an ex-Google engineer, claims to have created the first ever language processing unit, promising unprecedented speeds for AI application. Their TensorStream processor is likened to a speedy assembly line that processes data tasks sequentially and efficiently, making it a potential game changer for AI. In contrast to GPUs, this language processing unit adopts a streamlined approach, eliminating complex scheduling hardware, saving energy, and avoiding underutilization of cores. Grok's scalable chip design paves the way for large-scale AI models, as multiple processors can be connected without traditional bottlenecks. The first public demo presented a lightning-fast AI answering engine that produced responses with hundreds of words in less than a second. Exemplifying Grok's revolutionary speed, more than 3/4 of the processing time was spent searching, not generating answers.
Okay, that in fact works perfectly now. So I think it's time for a quick commit, because now it's working. So let's see what we did. Git add p. Okay, I changed the mode of the file, that's fine. I added the hash bang in there, and then I imported the segment parser, and we moved all this stuff as global variables, which is not a great thing. We made the fits frame function, and we changed this to calculate lines. Okay, and we changed the method how we draw these things or calculate what we're gonna draw. Okay, and we also added the segment parser, so git add segment parser. And I forgot, before I commit, I am going to set this to true. And in fact, I will just remove this whole thing from here. I don't want that in the repo. So I will commit this. Added segment parser. Segment. Okay, what should we do next? I really would like to highlight the current word, but I've already been coding for 2 hours, and I think that I want to make one video where I actually do just the graphics stuff, because I want to be able to change the fonts and the colors and everything. And I might have to change from CV2 to some other library in order to do that. But perhaps one thing we could do is we could actually allow the changing of the positioning of the text. So one easy thing we could do is we could just, instead of dividing by 2, say times, and we could have like a caption y position percentage. Let's just do that. And we could have that in here. Let's just add it here for now. Or here. Caption y position. So we can put like 0.9 or 0.8 to move it down. Now this is not the best way. Maybe we want to have like a centered and then top positioned and bottom positioned, and then we could like change the margins or something like this. Because it's still going to be now centered. So if there's one line, it's going to be in a different place than if there's 2 lines. But if you want it to be in the bottom, then maybe you want it to be always starting from the bottom. I don't know. Let's see what that will look like. And let's actually create another short. Let's take again some sort of news article and make a short from that. Let's take this article from The Street. Elon Musk sues OpenAI, Altman, and more. So let's copy this thing again and let's put it in our source and let's create a short out of this. We don't want to read this article. We want to look at a short video. So let's do Python 3 main and source.text. And again, I should now integrate Captacity into Shortrocity so that we can actually add the captions directly in one go. But again, that will be another video because I have been coding for too long now. And maybe I even do that off screen, I'm not sure. Okay, we have a video. Let's move it without even taking a look at it into Captacity. And then let's add some captions to it. So we actually run the same script because I have the same name of the file, so it is going to overwrite that one. And sorry, I have to remove or change this to true, so we actually use Whisper. And let's end this video with a new YouTube short.
It's a litigious week in the tech world, with Elon Musk filing a lawsuit against OpenAI and Meta pulling out from a news deal in Australia. Meanwhile, not everything is going smoothly in court for X, as the judge seems skeptical of its charges against the Center for Countering Digital Hate. In Musk's absence, OpenAI has shifted its mission, attracting criticism and a demand to return to its original foundational charter. Despite disagreements and legal entanglement, the road to artificial general intelligence continues to be explored, with researchers steering towards a responsible path. And as this week's Tech Rundown concludes, it's evident that the world of AI is not just about innovation, but also about accountability and transparency.
Okay, it is working. Now, I noticed that some of the words are transcribed incorrectly. And that's kind of a problem here because although we do have the actual script for this, we are using Whisper to detect the audio, so then it's not going to be correct. But there's one thing we can do to help that, but I probably won't do it in this video right now. But there is a thing we can pass here, which is a prompt or initial prompt. And this is kind of a little bit different than like a ChatGPT prompt. Basically, you can add here words that should occur in the transcription, and then it will use a similar format in the actual transcription. So maybe we could take all of the words from the transcription, like separate words, or especially some words that are not like normally used, and then add them to the prompt automatically. So if I would add here like Meta and OpenAI, and what else was there? At least those. And like with the previous example, it spelled grok like this, but actually it should be grok like that. So let's actually try that finally. And let's run it. and see if it works better. But of course, we have to get these words from the actual transcript or the actual script that we have for the short. And this might be like an option in the command line or somewhere in this application. If you're using an existing video, then you would want to pass in some words in there. But let's see now if meta is properly written in this short.
It's a litigious week in the tech world, with Elon Musk filing a lawsuit against OpenAI and Meta pulling out from a news deal.
It actually works.
Meanwhile, not everything is going smoothly in court for X, as the judge seems skeptical of its charges against the Center for Countering Digital Hate. In Musk's absence, OpenAI has shifted its mission, attracting criticism and a demand to return to its original foundational charter. Despite disagreements and legal entanglements, the road to artificial general intelligence continues to be explored, with researchers steering towards a responsible path. And as this week's tech
I think that is enough. So in the next video, I'm going to work on more of the graphics in this, so we can change the color of the text and add a better looking shadow in there. And if you have any other suggestions on what I should add to this, then let me know in the comments and I will take those into consideration. Unless I film the video before I read your comments. But anyway, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you want to see the next video and more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.